When a paralyzed girl danced with the maid's daughter at midnight, his shocking reaction left all. In the sleepy town of Maplewood, something magical happened one fateful midnight. Beneath the silver glow of the full moon, a hush fell over the grand, old mansion. The scent of jasmine mixed with the cool night air, a fragrant whisper of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Deep within, a paralyzed girl named Lily sat in her wheelchair, her gaze fixed out the window. Though her body was captive, her spirit soared higher than the stars above. And then, like a scene out of a fairy tale, came the maid's daughter, a girl named Sienna with wild, flowing hair and eyes bright with mischief. A single sparkling string of fairy lights twinkled around her, illuminating the dim room. They had a plan, a daring plan that no one could have anticipated. At the stroke of midnight, they would dance, Lily's laughter mingling with the soft music from Sienna's phone, weaving a tapestry of joy in the stillness. It felt both reckless and wondrous, a defiance of fate itself. The air was electric as Sienna deftly lifted Lily, spinning her gently, defying all the limits that life had imposed. How was this possible? The impossible became real in those fragile moments, revealing a hidden world where anything could happen. Oh, but the magic didn't stop there. A shadow loomed near, the flicker of candlelight revealing the figure of someone unexpected, the son of the mansion, Ethan. He had been lurking, entranced by this extraordinary act fueled by pure heart. As he stepped into the light, his eyes widened in disbelief, shock painted across his handsome features. Surely, he was torn between awe and fear. The revelation broke the silence like shattered glass. Could a girl once thought broken dance? The dance of defiance echoed against the walls, resonating with longings and unsaid words. Was he witnessing a miracle or simply losing his mind? The tension hung thick in the air, wrapping around them like a living thing. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Lily felt the thrill of freedom coursing through her veins, eyes sparkling with joy. But what did Ethan feel? His heart raced, caught in a storm of emotions. Would this change everything? As the music swelled, their dance spun them into a whirl of emotion. But just as quickly, the door creaked open. A figure stepped in, someone who could ruin it all. Who were they? And what would happen next? The figure emerging from the shadows was tall and imposing. The candlelight flickered against the pale, familiar face of Ethan's mother, Helen. She stood there, her stern expression illuminated by the soft glow of the lights. The moment stretched, silence wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. Lily froze, the thrill of magic she had felt so passionately moments ago now replaced by a chill of fear. Ethan's heart sank. "Mom," he exclaimed, his voice a mix of surprise and panic. His mom was not one to wander into the mansion at odd hours, especially not at midnight. Helen's gaze darted sharply between him and Lily, her mouth pressed into a thin line, betraying nothing but disapproval. "What is the meaning of this?" she asked, her voice carrying the authority that was all too familiar. But instead of cowering under her glare, Lily felt a fierce resolve ignite within her. She met Helen's stare, determination hardening her features. "I was dancing," Lily declared, her voice steady. "Just because I can't walk doesn't mean I can't dance." Helen's eyes narrowed. "This is unacceptable. You shouldn't be here, throwing a party in the dead of night." The words cut like ice, and Ethan felt a knot form in his stomach. He had always been a good son, but tonight, everything felt different. "No one is throwing a party, Mom," he countered, his words sharper than he intended. "Lily deserves this moment. She deserves a life outside the confines of her wheelchair." The air grew thick with tension. Helen's face twisted with disbelief. "You don't understand," she snapped back. "She is not like us. She is not like us." Lily interrupted, her pulse racing. "What do you mean by that? I am a person. I have hopes, dreams, not just a role in your world." Sienna flinched at the upset, watching as the confrontation escalated. She stepped closer to Lily's side, a protective stance forming. Ethan felt torn between the two worlds, the protective grip of his mother and the fierce spirit that radiated from Lily. "Mom, please," he begged, his voice lowering, "let us give her this moment. It could mean the world to her." Helen's features softened, but only slightly. Her struggle between fractured maternal instincts and societal expectations was palpable. "You think this is some kind of a game, Ethan? You think letting her dance will change her reality? Just look around. The world cannot see past her condition." And just like that, the weight of her words sank in, a harsh reality crashing down on them all. Lily's heart raced with defiance, yet a cold wave of doubt washed over her. Was she enough in a world built on such daunting perceptions? The music faded into nothingness, each note dissolving like mist in the night air. Suddenly, a rapping sound echoed from outside the door, breaking the suffocating silence. "What now?" Helen snapped, her annoyance mixing with curiosity. "Who could that be?" Sienna whispered, casting a wary glance at the door. Ethan's brows knitted together in confusion as he stepped forward. "Let us find out." The tension inside hung like a storm waiting to break, and the door creaked ominously as he opened it. The cold air rushed in, greeting them with the scent of damp earth. But it was what came next that froze everyone in place. Standing in the threshold was a stranger cloaked in shadows, their silhouette hiding secrets waiting to be uncovered. "Is this where the dance party is?" the stranger asked, their voice low and smooth, sending shivers down their spines. Ethan's breath hitched. Who were they, and what did they want? Lily's pulse quickened. The night was far from over, and their world was about to get even more complicated. The strangers stepped into the candlelit room, their presence wrapping around them like a thick fog. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows, making it hard to discern their features. "Who are you?" Ethan demanded, his voice barely hiding the tension. "My name is Cashin," the figure replied smoothly, a wry grin breaking the darkness. "And I'm here for the party, of course." "Party?" Helen repeated incredulously, her steely demeanor shifting slightly. "This is not a party." Cashin's grin widened, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Oh, but I isn't it? A celebration of sorts, a rebellion against the mundane, a beautiful break from the rules that bind you." He leaned against the wall, seemingly unfazed by the hostile atmosphere. Lily, still catching her breath from the confrontation with Helen, felt an inexplicable pull toward this person. There was something about Cashin's energy that was infectious, a wild spirit bound to set the world on fire. "What do you want?" Ethan pressed, stepping closer to Lily, protective instincts firing up once more. "Just to share a moment," Cashin said, his gaze landing on Lily. "A dance under the stars, my lady. A whirl of freedom in a world that often confines." Lily's heart raced. "You think I can? I can't even stand. Why limit yourself to what the world sees?" Cashin challenged, a spark igniting in his eyes. "You have music in your soul. Let it out." Helen scoffed, her arms crossing defensively. "This is ridiculous. You can't just come here and watch me," Cashin interrupted, turning toward Lily again. "Just for a moment. A chance to break free, to feel like you're flying." The tension in the room shifted. There was a palpable energy, stifled and aching to be unleashed. Sienna moved a bit closer to Lily, her eyes wide with curiosity. "I don't know if I can." Lily's voice trembled, uncertainty tugging at her. Ethan squeezed her hand, an anchor amidst the whirlwind. "You can, Lily. You're stronger than you think. Let us start small." Then, Cashin proposed, his voice a soothing balm against the chaos. "Just a slight movement, a gentle sway. You're already a dancer. Let that light shine, even if it's just a flicker." Lily took a deep breath, the music that had faded moments ago now returning in a whisper, as if it had been waiting just for this moment. "All right," she said, her heart racing with anxious excitement. Cashin stepped closer, offering his hand. The moment seemed to teeter on the edge of a knife. Helen's eyes blazed with anger. "Ethan, don't let this happen. You have to stop this nonsense." But Ethan held his ground, undeterred. "Stop it. Mom." She's finally reaching for something. "Do you want to take that away from her?" He looked at Lily as if daring her to seize this moment. Lily grasped Cashin's hand tentatively, her heart pounding in her chest. They began to move together, a slow twirl, just enough to let hope ignite within her. The world, with all its judgments and shadows, faded into the background. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the nearby hallway, shattering the fragile tranquility. All heads turned, hearts racing as fear sliced through the air like a knife. What was that? Sienna gasped, a hand to her mouth. Lily's grip tightened on Cashin's hand. Cashin's playful demeanor shifted, his expression hardening. Looks like the night has more secrets to reveal. Are you ready for what is coming? Ethan felt the chill creep back into the room. It wasn't just the shadows outside that haunted them anymore. With fear gripping their hearts, they stood at the threshold of an unforeseen storm. What had been a moment of defiance now felt fragile as the unexpected threatened to crash into their newfound freedom. The next revelation loomed ahead, electrifying the atmosphere. What lay beyond that door? And how deep did the mystery beneath this night truly run? The sound of shattering glass reverberated through the room, slicing the tense silence. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he instinctively pulled Lily closer, shielding her with his body. Cashin, usually so carefree, straightened, his playful grin vanishing like the flickering candlelight. What was that? Ethan demanded, glancing toward the door. The shadows seemed to pulse and writhe, as though alive with the threat that lurked beyond. Sienna turned white, her eyes darting to the closed door with palpable dread. I think we should leave. This isn't right. We need to get out of here. Cashin remained still, eyes fixated on the door as if he could gaze through it, through whatever darkness lay waiting. No one leaves, he murmured, something grim settling in his voice that sent chills down Lily's spine. What do you mean no one leaves? Helen's voice was sharp, her protective instincts flaring up as she stepped forward. This is insane. We need to. Before she could finish, the door creaked open slowly. A cold draft swept through the room, extinguishing one of the candles, plunging them momentarily into semi-darkness. Then, a figure stepped into the room. The light flickered back to life, illuminating a tall, menacing silhouette draped in black, illuminated only by the shimmering candlelight. Their face was obscured by a hood, leaving only the unsettling gleam of sharp eyes that appeared almost predatory in this intimate space. Lily gasped, a sense of foreboding crashing down on her like a heavy wave. Who are you? She stammered, her voice trembling. Someone you don't want to meet under these circumstances, the figure replied, their voice low and unsettling, echoing off the walls. Cashin took a step forward, blocking Lily from view. What do you want? We were having a moment here. Moments can wait, the figure hissed, glancing past Cashin to assess the room. You all have something I need. What could we possibly have? Helen shot back, finding her bravado even as fear clawed at her insides. The figure shifted, their hands slowly pulling something from the darkness of their cloak, a glimmering, silver key. This, they said, revealing it to the candlelight, a peculiar shine dancing along its surface. And I am here to collect it. What do you mean? Ethan stepped forward, his protective instincts flaring again, trying to keep control of the situation. You'll get nothing from us. Oh, but you will. Soon enough. The figure's lips curled, revealing a hint of satisfaction. This key opens a door that holds more than just secrets. It holds answers about who you are, what you are. Each word thudded against Lily's heart. She felt as though the world was slipping away, unraveling a truth so deep it might shatter them all. Cashin's confident composure faltered. You can't just waltz in here and make demands. We're not afraid of you. But fear is just part of the game. Isn't it? The figure replied, tilting their head, eyes flashing with amusement. Prepare for a revelation. It's coming, like it or not. The air grew thicker with tension, each heartbeat drumming louder as they exchanged glances, confusion and dread swirling within them like a thick fog. What key? What door? Cashin shifted slightly, and for the briefest moment, Lily caught a flicker of something in his eyes. Was it fear, or was it determination? Stay back, Helen shouted, but it did little to quell the electricity hanging in the air. The figure leaned in closer, voice dropping to a whisper that cut through the anxiety. Each of you is tied to this night more than you know. A reckoning awaits. Embrace it or be consumed. With that, they turned, sweeping out of the room like smoke drifting away from a dying flame. The door slammed shut behind them, leaving a haunting silence in their wake. Questions raced through Lily's mind. her hand still clutching Cassian's fingers trembling as they exchanged uncertain glances. What did that mean? Ethan clenched his jaw, determination written all over his face. We need to find answers. We can't just sit here. But as he opened the door, preparing to follow, a piercing scream echoed from down the hall, chilling them to the bone. The night had only just begun to reveal its secrets, and already they sensed something wicked inching closer. What waited for them beyond the threshold? And what dark truth lay buried in the shadows? Ethan hesitated, his heart racing as the echo of the scream faded into the heavy air. It reverberated through the house like a ghostly bell tolling, summoning terror to claw at their insides. Did you hear that? Sienna's voice trembled, eyes wide as she clutched Cassian's arm tighter. Yeah, I heard it. Ethan's voice was barely a whisper, a knot tightening in his throat. They all knew deep down that whatever had come for them wasn't finished yet. Cassian's bravado faltered under the weight of uncertainty. We stay together, he said, though it lacked his usual confidence. We figure this out as a team. Helen nodded, her jaw clenched. And if whatever made that scream comes back, we need a plan. The group shifted closer, instinctively huddling together in the dim light of flickering candles. The shadows around them seemed more alive now, bending and twisting in the half-light, as if taunting their fear. Ethan clenched his fists, forcing himself to push aside the frenzied thoughts racing through his mind. Okay, let us check it out. We can't let fear paralyze us, he said, his tone firmer than he felt. The collective breath was drawn in, and then the door creaked open further, revealing the hallway beyond. Each step they took was measured, heartbeats thrumming in unison as they walked into the darkness. This way, Lily pointed towards the source of the scream, down the hall where the shadows intertwined like rolling fog. Camaraderie held them close, but dread lodged itself in their chests. The hallway felt impossibly long, the walls narrowing as they approached. Candles flickered, shadows dancing wildly, creating eerie shapes that made Lily's skin crawl. Was it just their imagination, or did the darkness seem to breathe, whispering threats in sinister tones? Look, Cassian exclaimed, pointing to a door ajar at the end of the corridor. A dim light spilled out, flickering in a way that matched the anxious thumping in Lily's chest. In there. They hurried toward it, the air growing thicker with each step, the smell of something metallic, almost iron-like, seeping into their senses. It took everything in Lily to keep walking, her instincts screaming for her to turn back. As they reached the door, it creaked open fully, revealing a room steeped in shadows and illuminated only by a single flickering bulb. The walls were lined with ominous paintings of figures locked in anguish. In the center stood a girl, motionless, tangled in ribbons of silver light, her expression blank. It sent an electric jolt through Lily as she stepped forward, an unshakable feeling of recognition washing over her. Is she okay? Sienna asked, voice cracking as she forced herself to look closer. Before anyone could respond, eerie whispers crept into the room, spiraling around them like a tempest. The painted figures on the wall seemed to shift and lurch, eyes glinting with malice. Suddenly, the girl lifted her head, and her eyes piercing and alive locked onto Lily's. Help me, she breathed, her voice weak but desperate, tinged with a hollow echo that chilled Lily to the bone. Time froze. The gravity of the moment crashed upon them, the truth tumbling into place like a trapdoor swinging open. This was more than a nightmare. This girl was the key, and somehow, Lily felt an unbreakable bond of shared fate. What do you want from us? Ethan demanded, stepping closer, protective instinct flaring. But the girl's gaze didn't waver. You already know, she murmured, the shadows coiling tighter around her. You're all a part of this. The reckoning waits for no one. A sudden crash reverberated from behind them, and chaos erupted. The door slammed shut, plunging them back into thick darkness, the whispers escalating into a cacophony of madness. Panic gripped Lily, her breath quickening. What do we do? Her words were almost swallowed by the frenzy around them. But in that moment, one thing became painfully clear. There was no escaping their fate. They stood at the precipice of revelation. And just then, a shadow at the back of the room shifted, ready to strike. What was standing there, waiting? In the dark? And would they survive long enough to uncover the shattering truth? Lily's heart pounded in her chest, as the shadow lurked closer. It wasn't just a trick of the light. It was a presence, coiling like a serpent, ready to strike. Her instincts screamed to run, but her feet felt glued to the floor. The girl at the center, still trapped in her shimmering cocoon, gasped breathlessly. "You have to trust me. I can help." Ethan stepped forward, the flickering bulb casting shadows across his determined face. "Help? What do you mean? We need to get you out of here." His voice was firm, but beneath it lay a tremor of uncertainty. The shadow solidified, revealing itself a figure draped in a tattered cloak that fluttered like a ghost caught in a breeze. Its face was obscured, but hollow eyes glowed with a sinister light. It raised an arm, thin and skeletal, and pointed directly at Lily. "She's the one," it rasped, a voice like gravel scraping stone. "She knows what it is to lose everything." Lily took a step back, terror igniting every nerve in her body. "No, I don't know anything." The cloaked figure stepped closer, and Lily could feel its malevolence wrapping around her like a noose. "You will," it hissed. "You are bound by fate, just like her." Lily swiveled her head back to the girl in the center. Panic surged as she realized just how gray and void her eyes had become. "What do you mean? We're not bound to anything. We can leave. Not until the reckoning is settled," the girl whispered, her voice fading into desperation. "You must understand it is only the beginning." Sienna grasped Lily's arm, her nails digging in as she shook with fright. "What should we do, Ethan? This isn't just shadows, this is something real." "Back away slowly," Ethan said, his voice low and steady. "We need to create distance." But the figure moved with uncanny speed, drawing a circle of shadow around them. From the walls, incoherent whispers began to spiral out, each syllable cutting through the tension like a knife. It was as if the paintings were alive, wailing for release, echoing the anguish trapped within. "Hear my call," the shadow proclaimed, and the very walls began to shudder, the paintings appearing to bleed ink like shadows that swirled towards the center of the room. Lily clenched her fists, fighting against the terror gripping her. "We want to do this. We can find a way out." She took a step forward, trying to muster courage. "You cannot escape what you don't understand," the cloaked figure taunted. "But you can embrace it." Suddenly, a surge of energy pulsed through the air. The girl leaned forward, desperation mingling with something powerful. In that moment, she seemed to flicker, her image stretching thin and then thickening against the shadows. "You can release me, but you have to choose." Ethan's gaze flicked between the girl and the shadow. "Choose? Choose what?" Silence blanketed the room, heavy and suffocating. The cloaked figure huffed. "To unleash the truth or to remain in your blissful ignorance, either way, time is not your ally." Lily's mind raced. The air was electric with tension. "We will choose." Her voice was a scream, sharp and resonating. In that heartbeat, the room exploded into chaos, shadows twisted and morphed. The whispers crescendoed into a deafening roar, echoing their fears and desires. The tremors of the world around them escalated, shaking the very foundations of their resolve. Everything seemed to fracture around them, and Lily felt herself caught in a maelstrom of darkness, the girl's gleaming eyes now pleading. Ethan and the others were drawing closer together, all of them bound to this moment, just as the girl had said. But as the shadows pressed in, a question hung heavy in the air. Did they dare embrace the dark truth, or would the darkness consume them whole? And just as a light flickered to life from the girl's hands, illuminating the room, a piercing scream pierced through the chaos. Who had screamed, and what would it unleash in the heart of their struggle? Lily's breath caught in her throat as the scream echoed, slicing through the darkness like a knife. The sounds distorted, twisting into anguished whispers that resonated deep within her. Time felt suspended. Ethan turned, his eyes wide with terror. "Who was that?" he gasped. "I don't know." Lily was shouting now, her voice rising above the chaos. The girl in the cocoon rocked back and forth as if trying to break free. Her eyes glittered with desperation, reflecting the dim light from her hands. The cloaked figure shook its head slowly, the shadows around it swirling menacingly. "You cannot hide from the truths that bind you. The scream is merely the proclamation of what is to come." Sienna clutched Lily tighter, her voice trembling. "We need to stop this. We need to get out." "Look," Ethan shouted, pointing. The girl's body flickered in and out of focus, her features becoming distorted, as if the shadows were sucking the light away. As another scream pierced the air, the dark figure stepped closer, its hollow eyes glowing brighter, feeding on their fear. The reckoning demands a price, and you will pay a moment later. The girl's light flared, illuminating the space around them and pushing back the shadows, just enough so they could see. The paintings lining the walls morphed under the brilliance, revealing scenes of despair, loss, and what appeared to be lives entwined through time. "Don't look at them," Lily shouted, but her words were drowned out by the descending shadows eager to reclaim their territory. With every brush of darkness, Lily felt her determination waver, but the flickering light pushed back and filled her with a strange sense of resolve. "Stay close," she urged, reaching for her friends. But Ethan had already stepped further into the light, his own resolve deepening. "What if we can break this curse?" he shouted, hope blooming against the darkness. "What if we can help her?" "Help her?" Lily gasped incredulously. "She's the reason we're trapped." "No, she's the key." Ethan's conviction surged, his gaze locked on the girl. "She can guide us. We just have to believe." Suddenly, the cocoon shattered. Darkness streaked away, but in its wake, the girl emerged, trembling but alive, glistening with fresh light. "I chose you," she cried, her voice cutting through the chaos. "You must remember what you've lost." "I don't understand," Lily shouted back, feeling raw panic bubbling within her. "Do you want to break the cycle? Do you want to be free?" the girl asked, her voice echoing as if it came from the depths of a well. "Then embrace your truth." Before Lily could reply, the shadows lunged, converging upon them. But now they weren't just clinging to darkness. They were searching for something or someone. "Lily, Sienna." Ethan reached for them, desperation etched across his features. "We need to trust her. Do you remember?" "What do you mean?" Lily's heart raced with uncertainty. Suddenly, memories flooded back, flashes of laughter, the sun on her face, joyous days with family now buried beneath the weight of loss. The girl stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with understanding. "You must let go. Grasp that which you have buried deep. Only then can we break this cycle." The shadows surged again, engulfing the room in panic. Each tendril reached for Lily, wrapping around her like cold fingers, but they were no longer just consuming her. They were searching, demanding, eager for recognition. With a sudden rush of clarity, Lily cried out, "I remember." But even as the shadows recoiled at her admission, uncertainty flooded her again. Was facing her past truly the way forward? Would their illumination banish the darkness, or would it unleash new horrors instead? As the light washed over the room, the girl offered a hand to Lily, lifting her from the brink. "Choose your truth, Lily, before the shadows reassert their power." But would the past she faced be a path to freedom or a doorway into deeper darkness? Lily's heart raced as the girl's words wrapped around her like a lifeline, thrusting her between hope and despair. "Choose your truth," echoed in her mind, swirling amidst the shadows that still coiled around them. Fear surged through her like ice water. What path would she choose? She gazed at Ethan and Sienna, their faces twisted in uncertainty, fear reflecting in their wide eyes. The girl standing before them glowed, an ethereal light contrasting sharply with the encroaching darkness. "Accept the memories," the girl urged again, her voice soft yet powerful. "Only by remembering can we unlock the way." But what memory could silence the screams, fade the shadows? Lily felt each heartbeat scream for her attention as a distant sound began to resonate, a familiar laughter mixed with the night air, a childhood voice long buried beneath the sorrow of loss. "Think, Lily." Ethan's shout snapped her back. "Think of every moment that brought you joy." At that moment, the shadows lunged. Tendrils of icy darkness wrapped around her limbs, pulling her back, a relentless grip that threatened to drag her under. She gasped, breaking away from their call, clutching the fear that clawed at her heart. "Lily!" Sienna screamed, reaching out as shadows gathered around her like a storm. "We have to fight them." Fire ignited in Lily's chest. Just a flicker at first, but a flame of determination. "You're right. I can't let them win." Grasping the girl's offered hand, she felt warmth flow into her, igniting the memories buried deep inside her. They rushed to the surface, playing in the sun, her mother's laughter, the vibrant colors of a world before loss ravaged her. Each memory was like a thread, weaving through her very essence, illuminating her fears, her pain, and now her strength. The girl nodded knowingly, her eyes shimmering with light. Embrace them. They are your power. Together we can banish the darkness. Suddenly, an awful realization struck Lily. But what if I let it out? The idea of confronting her past terrified her more than the shadows ever could. Every joyful moment carried the weight of her loss, memories she buried, and feelings she hadn't dared to confront. It's necessary, Ethan insisted, gripping her shoulder tightly. Without it, we'll be lost in this nightmare. Let go. The girl echoed, her own radiant visage a beacon of resilience. You'll be free. With the shadows reaching for her once more, she felt the warmth transform into fire, igniting a resolve she didn't know she had. She closed her eyes and let the memories wash over her like a tidal wave, each laughter and smile mingling with the coldness, mixing light with shadow until they harmonized into a single potent force. If responding to her acceptance, the shadows shrieked in rage, recoiling in fury as the light began to swell around her, surging toward the dark figure. The cloaked figure snarled, its hollow eyes blazing with fury. You think your light can outshine the truth of despair? You are mistaken. But Lily's breath came deeper now, her heart pulsing with purpose. No more, she shouted, her voice breaking the tumult. I am more than my pain. With that proclamation, the flames of her memories erupted from her being, engulfing the shadows. But just as the darkness stumbled back, the girl gasped, her light flickering. Quick, draw on it. We can't let it break free. Lily glanced between her friends and the girl, and in an instant, understanding fired through her. She felt the tension, heard the desperate clamoring behind their voices. Could this moment break the cycle? Would she unleash the truth of her past or bind them into a new reality? In that electrifying moment, she recognized the endgame. The shadows, hungering for what lay hidden, stirred with an urgency that tightened the air. Would the truth she embraced bring forth salvation or deliver destruction upon them all? And in that chaotic heartbeat, a fierce howl pierced the air, loud and thundering, propelling them all toward a choice that would change everything. But what if this truth was more devastating than the darkness they fought? Would they survive the revelation, or would they be consumed by it? The shadows recoiled from the surge of light, like a wild animal backed into a corner. They twisted and writhed, hissing at Lily's declaration, the sound a chilling symphony of fury and despair. The dark figure inched closer, anger tightening around it like a serpent, its voice slithering through the night air. You think your hollow declaration can save you? You are nothing without your grief. But she didn't waver. Each word she uttered became a shield against the darkness, fueled by her memories now painted in defiance on the canvas of her mind. Her mother's laughter rang clear, strong, joining the battle. A moment of clarity struck Lily, illuminating others lost in the shadows. You don't define me anymore. I choose to remember the joy, the love. The girl beside her beamed, her light growing in intensity, pouring into Lily's outstretched hands. Ethan and Sienna stood steadfast, their eyes blazing with a shared will to fight. Together, they created a barrier, love and light against despair and darkness. The shadows belted in ear-splitting scream. Tendrils lashed out toward Lily, seeking to snuff out the light spirit of her memories. Lurching forward, she channeled the warmth in her heart. She envisioned each moment of joy, letting go of the sorrow that had clung to her, suffocating her. Now, the girl shouted, urgency in her voice. Bring it together. Channel everything. Lily felt the energy ripple through the air, a pulsating heartbeat manifesting magic that surged through her grounded feet. Her memories erupted like fireworks, colors so vivid her chest tightened with emotion. A storm of light crashed into the shadows, colliding with a force that took her breath away. But the dark figure loomed, its rage intensifying into chaos. You are a child playing dress-up in the face of true despair. You can't escape your past. Each word pierced through her, becoming a dagger. For a torturous second, doubt gripped her heart. Could she abandon the depth of her sorrow? Seeking strength, she thought of the day her mother had smiled at her, brushing the hair from her face. Too often, she had let pain overshadow the laughter, but not tonight. No, she yelled, every fiber of her being igniting with purpose, passion blending with courage. You don't own these memories. They belong to me. Suddenly, shadows writhed and shrieked, as if in pain. With every heartbeat, they thrashed, attempting to reclaim what they believed was theirs. But the luminosity encircling Lily and her friends glowed brighter, illuminating the path, the girl's form quaking in response. Let it go? Embrace the truth, Lily. The girl cried out, her voice ringing like a committed clarion call. Lily, defiant, took a deep breath that filled her with empowerment. She let it flow through her like an unstoppable river, each memory sparking something deep inside small moments and grand memories, weaving into a tapestry of resilience. They spun into a shield, absorbing the dark figure's hate-filled energy, growing stronger, more cohesive. Then, she felt a tremor within herself, a flicker of doubt. Was it enough? Would they hang on? The truth behind her eyes lit in defiance against the gnawing shadows. Suddenly, the shadows screamed one last time before striking out violently. Tendrils lashed out, ripping through their formation, seeking to tear apart their connection. Ethan and Sienna staggered back, struggling against the rush of darkness. But Lily's voice rang clearer than thunder. Stay with me. We must hold this together. Was it a glimmer of hope? Or would the shadows engulf them? As the darkness lunged closer, she wouldn't let fear win. But when the dark spirit hissed, a power surged through it, a lurking shade that felt unlike any before. A crack appeared beneath their feet, a chasm of swirling shadows and unspoken promises. They needed to act now, but could they hold the light against such profound depths? Terror clawed at her throat as she battled the creeping dread. What price would she pay for the truth? With every pulse of light, the shadows screamed louder, fierce and ancient. Was salvation just a heartbeat away, or an abyss that threatened to swallow them whole? The shadows whipped and writhed like wild serpents, desperate to reclaim their hold. The flickering light from Lily and the girl intertwined, a radiant dance fighting against the suffocating darkness. Every ounce of fear weighed heavy as Ethan, Sienna, and the girl drew together, forming an unbreakable circle of light and determination. Their hearts beat as one. You must remember, the girl urged, her voice echoing with urgency. It's the only way to weaken the darkness. The shadows screeched, hissing like angry spirits attempting to silence her. Lily's chest tightened as whispered memories cascaded through her mind: laughter in the sun, her mother's embrace, the warmth of family dinners. I remember, she gasped, letting the memories surge forth. With every detail she let go, she felt power pushing against the darkness. I remember what it feels like to be loved. As she resonated with her truth, colors erupted around her like fireworks, illuminating the gloom. The shadows faltered, their screeches faltering into whimpers as they retreated just enough to give Lily hope. Ethan stepped closer, clutching Lily's hand firmly. We've got to keep going, Lily. This is our moment. Don't hold back. Sienna's eyes sparkled with tears, yet they were filled with determination. You're not alone. We're right here with you. The trio linked their hands tighter, channeling their unyielding bond to the shimmering girl at the center. As they embraced their shared histories, a wave of energy pulsed outward, pushing against the shadows. Together, the girl urged, let us free those trapped like me. Her light intensified, casting away the darkness in pulsing waves. A rift opened beneath their feet, raw energy swirling like a vortex, eager to claim the shadows. They needed to make a choice. No more fear. No more hiding. We choose to remember. Lily shouted, her voice drowning out the whispers. We choose love. The shadows recoiled, screeching in protest. The dark figure's hollow eyes widened, faltering for the first time. You are nothing. It spat, but doubt crept into its voice. We are everything. Lily shouted back, lifting her head high. The universe trembled in response. Her voice resonated across space and time, threading her essence with those lost. As if responding to her fervor, the brilliant light expanded, illuminating even the deepest crevices of the dark figure. With each heartbeat, each memory cherished, the light grew, filling the room with a pure, golden glow that pushed the darkness back until it collapsed in on itself. Lily saw the girl's form begin to shimmer brighter than ever before. You can break this cycle, Lily. she encouraged, her spirit intertwining with the radiant energy. Trust your heart. You have the power to rewrite destiny. In that heart-stopping moment, reality bent and shimmered. Lily closed her eyes, enveloping herself within the memories. My past doesn't define me, she whispered, her resolve stretching wide, hitting every hidden feeling, the joy, the pain, the loss, and finally, the love. And then, with an exhilarating rush, the chasm erupted with a blinding light, banishing the shadows completely. Everything stood still for a heartbeat, the darkness evaporating into the night, leaving behind only the whispers of their confrontation. Lily opened her eyes, heart racing in disbelief. The room was transformed, bathed in light, warmth washing over her like a soft embrace. The paintings on the walls glowed with rich colors, their anguished faces now serene. The girl smiled, free at last. Thank you, she breathed softly, gaze glowing with gratitude. You've set us all free. Lily felt tears streaming down her cheeks, joy and relief erupting like an unstoppable wave. We did it, she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Ethan and Sienna stepped forward, joining her, the warmth of their solidarity forging an unbreakable bond. In that moment, they understood the depths of their connection, the strength gifted through shared trials. Through every obstacle, we can find hope, Ethan said, looking at Lily with pride. You've shown us that even in darkness, we can dance. And we'll keep dancing, Sienna added, her voice steadfast, no matter the odds. The group stood united, basking in the golden light, incandescent hope enveloping them. They took a deep breath, ready for the world beyond the mansion, the battles ahead, and the fearless journeys waiting to unfold. As they stepped outside, the dawn broke upon Maplewood, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold, illuminating a fresh start. Together, they walked into the light, hearts open wide, spirits soaring. And for the first time in ages, the stars seemed to twinkle, crafting a new narrative of triumph. They had faced the darkness together, turning shattered memories into pillars of strength. Don't forget, if you want to be part of our beautiful stories and adventures, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive tales. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep our community growing stronger. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Your voice matters. And please, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful conclusion. This is your chance to spread the light. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share.